As work on the Skittle sorter progresses, it gets some enhancements, including a new carousel and fuzzy logic for the color sensing. After some extensive testing, a few issues have been found that need to be addressed. Firstly, the pressure between the motor gear and the ring gear was insufficient and the mechanism was prone to skipping teeth. Secondly, although the thickness of the carousel is correct, the generous diameter of the chambers would occasionally allow two skittles to fit side by side. This was very rare as it required two undersized skittles to enter the chamber simultaneously, but unfortunately when it happened, the height of the two skittles caused the carousel to jam. This posed a serious problem that had to be fixed. Shown here is the revised carousel design. The chambers are now only slightly larger than a skittle and the chambers have a bevel to help push other skittles back up. I also found out that the Hall effect sensor was extremely reliable and never missed a single magnet. This means that I could now use only one magnet per chamber. This is really great as I was using fairly complicated logic to automatically count the position and use the magnets to sync it periodically. I can now simply increment the counter each time the motor is stepped, and the interrupt that is triggered by the sensor will reset the counter. Here is the solution to the problem with the gears skipping. A small tension spring applies a constant but gentle amount of force to ensure the gears are always meshing, but still allows them to skip if there is a jam. Here is the test setup showing the button that triggers a single cycle. This was taken before the spring assembly was designed, so you can see my phone being used to keep pressure on the drive gear. Note that the skittles are being fed into the entry tube before it's empty. This ensures the test is realistic by always having 3 or 4 skittles stacked at the entry. This will maximize the chance of the mechanism jamming. Note also that there is a small backwards movement on the carousel halfway through the cycle. Try and guess why this happens. It will be explained soon. If you look carefully, you will see that I only have every second magnet fitted. When I decided to only use a single sync magnet for each cycle, I decided to leave the extra holes in place still. This video is running at normal speed and has not been sped up at all. Here I have the hideous webcam from my older videos set up to look down into the RGB sensor chamber. As you can see, when the carousel moves, the skittle is pushed up at an angle against the trailing edge. The slight backwards turn drops it down so it sits flat in the chamber. This will hopefully improve the accuracy of the RGB sensing. When the cycle starts, there is a short rotation, then it stops halfway between the two chambers. This first stop is for the gate alignment phase. It seems weird to operate the gates before the color check, but this will only be the case for the first cycle. From there on, it will simply alternate between RGB checks and gate alignments. Here is the new sensor assembly with a protective housing around the APDS 9960 board. The housing keeps the board securely centered and protects it from dust. And here it is in action. Watch here, you will see a skittle jam the mechanism. The firmware monitors the number of steps between magnets. If the mechanism jams, it will exceed a timeout and trigger a process that attempts to free the mechanism. It slowly winds it back, then forward to where it left off, and usually succeeds. But if it tries unsuccessfully more than 5 times, it stops running. Skittles are not a uniform size, and making the mechanism match the dimensions too closely means that it will jam if it encounters an oddly shaped or oversized skittle. On the other hand, making the compartments too large increases the chances of a double feed, which will also jam it. Occasional misfeeds are just a part of the process, so it's just a matter of making the machine handle it as best they can. Besides, making a number of different carousels with different dimensions to experiment with in the hope of finding the perfect result will waste a huge amount of filament. And this is a fun project, not a medical device. You will notice that it just jammed a moment ago. As with the previous, it recovered quickly, but unfortunately, each time it jams and recovers, it will reject each skittle that's currently in the carousel because they may go out the wrong exit. As there is only a carousel and color sensor, there's not much else to do other than report the colors. Here you can see a demonstration of random skittles being fed through it. What you don't see is the hours of testing that went into verifying that the algorithm was successful, or the hours that went into developing the algorithm. It turns out that the dimensions of a skittle are not the only properties that are inconsistent. Couple that with the fact that one side has a white S on it. Plus, they consider different angles in the color sensing chamber, and you get a situation that's more complicated than it appears on face value. I ended up having to use fuzzy logic to calculate the probability of the RGB values matching each of the 5 skittle colors. When I tested it, I fed a whole bag through and only 2 were misidentified. So let's take a closer look at how it identifies the colors. First, it obviously needs to read the sensor. These are integer values. Total is the sum of all the color values. Think of it as representing the total amount of light sensed. Now this is where it gets interesting. Each of the RGB values is divided by the total, giving a ratio of the total light that it represents. By working in ratios instead of absolute values for each color, the result is more stable representation that is less susceptible to error. Multiplying it by 100 and converting it into an integer is only done to convert it into a percentage. I only did this for readability and just left it that way for convenience. For this to work, I needed to get the median RGB values for each of the 5 colors, which was done by feeding 50 of each color through and recording the maximum and minimum values. Finally, each of these color values is created by finding the difference between the median RGB values for each of the skittle colors and the measured value. These are summed and divided by 3 to give the average difference. These are then subtracted from 20 so that they represent the probability. The higher the number, the closer it is to a match. From there, we just take the highest of the 5 values as representing the color that had the highest probability of being correct. Now that the carousel mechanism is working correctly and the color sensing is accurate, the next video will cover the design of the gate assemblies.